Growing concerns about the flu virus and your kids. We've seen how fast it can spread at school. Now we're seeing what happens while they play sports.
Rule number 1, flu can spread on germy hands. So
maybe during flu season, we don't do so much hand slapping.
we've recruited the Carpenter Cougars, three-peat and reigning LA champions, for a little demonstration.
I'm about to cover Axel in glow germ and see how far it spreads.
This harmless powder mimics the potential spread of a virus.
Now, go play.
Less than 5 minutes later, that glow germ glows under a flashlight's beam.
Can you see that? If he had the flu, you might have it too.
Every single kid on the team.
Oh, Chris. Oh, for heaven's sake, Chris, look at that. All of them. Germy fingers.
It's not just fingers.
All over his cheek.
Rule number 2, don't touch your face.
If you touch your face, we transfer the respiratory virus into our bodies.
We most often breathe it in. If that kid is sick, there's a 6-foot super infection zone around him, passing it on, coughing, sneezing, breathing.
Especially when you're running, your heart rate's up, you're breathing fast, that's more air exchanges going on.
Rule number 3, coaches, parents, don't let sick kids play.
There's a culture in sports that we push ourselves. Be the one to tell them it's okay not to play today.
There's more.
The flu virus will live on any hard surface for about 24 hours.
We have a germ meter, picks up harmless dirt, but also bacteria, viruses. The practice page. Any reading over 100 is considered potentially germ-ridden.
1,173.
It's impossible to sterilize those every single day, so we need to practice good habits.
Anonymous kid's water bottle. 1,830.
Rule number 4.
Cleaning the water bottle every day, not sharing the water bottle, and then whenever possible, not touching the water bottle to our lips.
How about that game ball?
2,890.
Rule number 5, the golden rule.
Guys, are you all going to wash your hands after practice? Yes!
The clock is ticking until Super Bowl 52, but this year new concerns as one of the biggest events in all of sports collides with the raging flu season. Here's NBC's Gabe Gutierrez.
This morning, doctors fighting the flu have a new concern. Call it Super Bowl fever. The fear this Sunday's big game could turn out to be a giant petri dish of sorts, spreading the flu to thousands of fans.
Yeah, your risk definitely increases.
With 65,000 potentially flu-filled fans expected on game day in Minneapolis and close to 1 million more attending events throughout the week, the prospect of getting sick is nothing to sneeze at.
Anytime you put that many people in one place, regardless of what they're doing, they're going to be at an increased risk of transmission.
Workers at U.S. Bank Stadium are tackling the problem head-on, cleaning and disinfecting everything in sight. This year's anti-flu playbook includes preventive elbowing.
If they're coughing, make sure they're coughing into their elbow.
And bacterial handoffs.
Wash our hands, we do hand sanitizer.
But don't think because you're not going to be in Minneapolis, you're immune. All across the country at those fun Super Bowl parties, there could be an uninvited guest. The flu virus, working overtime.
You can't really do nothing about it. I mean, it's out there, and if it's going to happen, it's going to happen.
But experts say there are steps you can take to protect yourself if your goal is not getting sick. Use disposable cups and plates. Don't share food or drinks. And
just take one dip and end it.
The big personal foul, no double dipping your chips.
That's like putting your whole mouth right in the dip.
So if you want to keep from being sidelined with the flu, you could just stay home, alone.
The less contact you have with people in general, the better your chances are of avoiding it.
But it is the Super Bowl, after all.
You don't want them to miss out on experiencing once-in-a-lifetime things, so you just be as careful as you can and come anyway.
In an extensive study, 30,000 cancer patients across Canada were surveyed about their thoughts on life after their treatment. The results found many wanted more support transitioning back to normal life after their treatment. Jacqueline Brown reports.
36-year-old Charlotte Kessler has braved brain surgery and 2 years of chemotherapy.
I just choose to live every day the best I can, but it took me a lot of work to get there.
In 2013, Kessler was given the devastating diagnosis, and once treatment for the tumor ended, she was once again left feeling lost.
I mean, when I was in treatment, it was easy to explain away why I couldn't do the things I wanted to be able to do, why I had to miss things with my family, why I couldn't be there for my daughter as much as I wanted to be, why I was feeling terrible. Then treatment ends, and all of a sudden, that doesn't necessarily all go away.
That's why a new report by the Canadian Partnership Against Cancer is taking a closer look at the transition out of treatment. 30,000 cancer patients across Canada, including Kessler, took part in the study. Over half reported significant physical and emotional challenges while trying to return to normal life. And 1 out of 3 patients don't address those concerns with their doctor. Kessler says the focus needs to shift from treating the disease to treating the person as a whole.
The healthcare workers need to have the supports and resources and training to treat whole people, whole selves, the whole patient, not just the disease.
Mona Delisle is a director of patient experience with Cancer Control Alberta and agrees patients need more support.
I think that the most important thing that we want patients to know is that we're listening, and that this report has had a huge impact. I think our biggest problem is we're not necessarily connecting patients at the right time to the resources that already exist.
Kessler is focused on spending time with family and hopes this information will help change the way we treat cancer.
So we've acknowledged it, we've recognized it, but we have to change the culture.
Jacqueline Brown, CTV News, Calgary.
Social networking has become a major part of our kids' lives. For some, the connection is positive. For others, it's turned into an addiction. Last night, you heard from students opening up about the destructive toll social media is taking on their lives. Now parents are joining the conversation. Here's Erin Isfeld.
Cyberbullying, explicit content, luring, unhealthy relationships, isolation. The dark side of social media.
If you're not self-confident, it's so easy to get roped into that, and you see people making poor choices on social media.
Adolescence is hard enough. Throw in the pressures of an online world, and it can be a toxic environment for youth.
You're also trying to find friends, you're trying to figure out who you are, and wrapping it up with social media kind of just complicates things.
Now it's more of like you get home from school and then you're on your social media and that's it, and it's kind of sad.
We have to manage the kids with this because there are big consequences for them later.
Registered psychologist Dr. Gans Ference sees a link between social media and negative emotions, mainly depression, anxiety, and low self-esteem.
Technology has advanced so quickly that our society has not had a chance to catch up. We haven't figured out how to put the right social norms around this stuff.
Alyssa Taylor is a criminal intelligence analyst for the Edmonton Police Service, who's also passionate about keeping families safe, offering parents tools to pilot their kids through the challenges of social media.
We can have a healthy relationship, but it takes time to navigate the technology and navigate social media.
Taylor encourages all parents to take an active role. Be curious about social media platforms. Be engaged, so when things go sideways, your kids will open up. Ask questions about which posts stress your children out, and don't judge.
Being able to see the situation perhaps through the eyes of a 12-year-old instead of through the eyes of a 40-year-old. Show your kids, maybe it's time to take this offline. Maybe it's time to go for a dog walk. Maybe it's time to get out in nature, whatever that is. But the most important thing I think parents can do is really model that behavior themselves.
And don't be afraid to set boundaries within reason.
If we just take away that device, we're also cutting them off from that support that they're getting from their circle of friends.
Social media platforms are also feeling the heat to step up. Facebook now being asked to discontinue its new Messenger Kids app, and Instagram being encouraged to incorporate heavy usage pop-ups.
What I'm glad about is there's a little bit of a reaction to this happening now, and people are starting to think about, well, you know what? Let's put our phones away.
Giving kids a license to just be kids while staying current in our ever-changing digital world.
We're going to take another quick break, but stay with us. Dahlia Ashry has your full weather forecast next.